Our first guest today is somebody who is going to be talking about one of Africa's success story. It's not easy to start anything in Nigeria, talk less of it running for 20 years. Our guest today is Mr. Raymond Osigwe. Mr. Raymond Osigwe is a graduate of the University of Calabar. He has a bachelor's degree in communication and logistics and linguistics, and he has also gone to the New York Film Festival, and he has a certificate in film production. But today we are not going to be talking more about film production. We are going to be talking about AMAA, 20 years of the success story of AMAA, and also the nomination list was released last week Friday. We are going to talk a bit about some Nigerians in the nomination and generally the challenges of running AMAA, especially after the founder went to rest 2 or 3 years ago, if I'm right. Mr. Raymond, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Joe.
How does it feel taking over the organization after the demise of Madam Peace, who I know how she passionately carried the platform, even when it was difficult getting sponsorship address? She never gave up for one day. How does he be filling into that big shoes?
Well, I'll just make a slight correction to start in terms of the bio, because this is a radio show. Background is Brunel and Loughborough University. But going back to Peace, because we're here about the creative industry, Peace, bless her soul, was my junior sister. Founder of AMAA, passed in January of 23. So we're close, so I was like foisted with, let's say, midwife in the process. The idea is to ensure steady hands as we go forward. Nobody expected her passing, but man proposes, God disposes. What has also been good is that the family has always been behind the scenes in AMAA since its founded in 2005. So it's been, for us, I wouldn't say taking over. It's a continuation of an ongoing process. We believe that AMAA is evolving. And AMAA is not about me or Peace, bless her soul, but the good thing about Peace, very passionate individual. She lived and breathed film. A lot of people did not realize she published her first magazine, I think, at 15 in the UK. And so she always says, I was born a creative, always a creative. And she studied law, but said, Dad, that's for you. Mom, that's for you. Now I'm going to do what I love, which is film and the creative industry. So I founded mine in 2005, and it's been going strong since then. When she passed, people always wondered, why did we host AMAA the year she passed? For us, it was a critical decision. And the reason was, it was a period of loss for the family, but we also knew that Peace would want AMAA to hold, because one of the things she always said was 18 years unbroken. So we said, God's grace, 19 years unbroken, not under our watch, and it held. She was preparing for this 20th year, and she had a retreat immediately after the 18th edition, where she set the roadmap. And so when she passed, we said, look, we will work with the roadmap and just continue with the team. And we expect everybody to basically be at your duty stations. We will respect the protocols, and we expect full loyalty to the brand and commitment to her legacy. And the only way you'll be out is if you, by your own actions, decide you want to chart a different path. So I've been working with the team, and they've been doing great. And this year it will hold November 2nd at the Balmoral Convention Center, Sheraton, Lagos. That's Sheraton in Ikeja.
So, in a relay race, we see that at the point of passing the baton on, everybody slows down. The runners slow down. At any point during this process, after the passing of Madam Peace, was there anything that sort of slowed down the process? I understand that there was a roadmap, there were protocols in place and all that. But was there anything that sort of created sort of like a challenge that you had to go past, find a way past, to ensure that the awards did hold?
Like anything worth doing and worth doing well, you need the right team to execute. You need the right product, and more importantly, you need funding. Like I did read an article, I think, about Chiu, and when he talked about the importance of the challenge of having funds to run the Bond Awards, for example. Funding is always key. And one of the things we're trying to do is just ensure that going forward we have strategic sponsorship support and also independent revenue from AMAA's digital IP. AMAA has substantial digital IP for close to 20 years, and we now intend to begin to bring that formally online with the partners. So we're looking to evolve the digital strategy of AMAA so that you have substantial independent stream of income coming in that helps run the programs. AMAA is not just the event. AMAA is a roadmap of events leading up to the gala event. So part of it includes the trips to the international film festivals. Of course, all this will be subject to budget. So I think the short answer to your question is no bottlenecks as such, except that the bottlenecks you would expect with any business, which is access to cash flow to roll out what you intend to roll out.
Okay. My question is this: when AMAA started, AMAA seemed to have a home in Yenagoa, and whenever you think about AMAA, Yenagoa comes to your mind. In fact, my first 2 trips to Yenagoa was because of AMAA, and it just seemed to click. Whenever you say AMAA, Yenagoa clicks. When you say Yenagoa, AMAA clicks to creatives. What happened? AMAA has not happened in Yenagoa for close to 10 years now.
Now, AMAA and Bayelsa, Yenagoa is the capital of Bayelsa, obviously, have a strategic relationship and a historical one that is very, very cordial. Kudos to more or less all the past and ongoing governors of Bayelsa State. The interesting thing about AMAA, when AMAA held, yes, you're right, AMAA held for close to 10 years in Bayelsa. At the time, Bayelsa didn't have an airport. So you had guests flying internationally and then flying to Port Harcourt and then road tripping to Yenagoa. So it was an interesting adventure, all roads leading to Yenagoa and Bayelsa. But the beauty about AMAA in Bayelsa and Bayelsa State is that the week of AMAA is like a festival. We flew in stars from international destinations like the US. We had the likes of Vivica Fox, Cuba Gooding Jr., Angela Bassett, Danny Glover, Forrest Whitaker into Yenagoa. At the heat of where the country was having some challenge at the time, but we're pleased that nothing happened to anyone. Everybody that came to AMAA came in peace and left in peace, and everybody was happy with AMAA. And AMAA moving on to other destinations, because as a brand begins to evolve, or as a product begins to evolve, you play around with the product to see where it sits. And the jury is kind of still out whether AMAA should rotate on the continent or whether AMAA should be domiciled in Nigeria. So in 2015 or 16, we held AMAA held in South Africa. And it was quite well received in Port Elizabeth. And since then also AMAA's held in Lagos for logistical issues, and Lagos Center of Excellence, we have a strategic partnership with the state, multi-partner Lagos State government under the current leadership of Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. And so the whole idea of where AMAA finally settles in was really more of a function as to facilities and amenities, because AMAA started to grow in terms of numbers and attendance. And so we had to look at locations that had the infrastructure to accommodate. But I think the good news is that since AMAA moved from Bayelsa, but we do still maintain our linkages with the Bayelsa state government. We expect, because we're celebrating the 20th edition this year, we've informed the state that we look forward to having them be part of the show, because you can't really separate AMAA from Bayelsa. It's a cordial and ongoing relationship.
Okay, you've been part of AMAA for 20 years. What do you think, apart from funding, is the greatest challenge that you face putting together the show?
Every year.
I think the skill sets. Infrastructure is not at the level it should be in Nigeria. But I must commend the Nigerian professionals. They do a lot with minimum availability of the right tools. But I think it's improving, because what we have now and what we had 20 years ago is totally different, and you see that also coming across in terms of the quality of films and the collaboration. So I think there should be some improvement in terms of the available infrastructure, even in terms of auditorium. That is, because we're talking, for example, you watch shows internationally, and some of those stages are automatic. You just press a button and the stage reconfigures. I don't think we have that yet, but hopefully with time, including the light effects and the rest of it. But having said that, I think Nigerians perform short of miracles with what they have. And I say that kudos to the industry. I'm not saying that in a very I'm not saying in a patronizing sense. Nigerians should be celebrated. We innovate. In the midst of difficulty, a solution would always be found. And that's the strength of the Nigerian spirit, which has come across, even in the creative industry. This is a grassroots industry. But you see how far it's come already from just being homegrown. So we know that AMAA has a role to play in the evolution of the film and creative industry. It's an iconic brand and reward platform. The jury system is on par with anyone in the world. Movies that do well in AMAA do well. Most of them do well on the international film circuit. So what we want to ensure that jury system is not tainted. AMAA also has, through the Africa Film Academy, we train youths and young people in enabling the skill sets in the film industry. So we are also trying to ensure that the skill sets development is also there on the various categories of film skills. So we're doing that because we know that it's important to help nurture the skill sets as a way to also help people get empowered and be able to eke out a living for themselves in a sustainable manner. We also are looking at AMAA ensuring linkages, because we've observed that funding is always a challenge for filmmakers, and so AMAA hosts what it calls the business roundtable, and the idea is to bring potential funders with filmmakers to just sit and discuss opportunities. We intend to do a bit more of that. We are reaching out to some of the international institutions that have shown a particular interest in African film and funding, and the idea is to come up with a framework under the AMAA Africa Film Academy collaboration with this international agencies and financial institutions to create that credible platform, so that it will begin to create an increased access to funding for film, all aspects of all genre of film. Now, beyond that as well, one of the things we want to look at is encourage people, because I did say it's interesting, the infrastructure of film is still a challenge in terms of the cinemas. I think Nigeria, statistically, I stand to be corrected, is about 1 in 65,000. And I think places like the US or China, I think, are like 1 in like some hundreds. So we need to increase the number of cinema infrastructure across not just Nigeria but Africa, and we have to do this in a responsible way, because streaming is big on all platforms, digital and in terms of mobile platforms. But if you notice, when a film is released, they tell you, it's grossed X. It mentions across several theaters. Nobody talks of the downloads. So it's clear that both streaming and physical attendance are going to go hand in hand. And the idea is, how do you deploy that cost effectively on a rapid basis, so that if a movie is released, it's released across 1,000 theaters. That increases the potential revenue to the producers, and by extension the industry as a whole. But the beauty about film and this industry, it's a massive employer of labor. All you need to look at is the cast, in terms of those that and the crew that have participated in the film. It's huge. We are not there yet, but we are getting there.
Okay, we're running out of time, so we're going to do 2 more questions before we go. The first one is this. I know that one of the challenges that you face as AMAA is the fact that AMAA award is not a Nigerian award. It's an African award. And sometimes when the Nigerian stars do not get nominations, they don't want to come, because they feel that, why would I come and sit down and clap for others? How does that make you feel? Because what I'm asking is, I'm in the industry, so those are some of the feedbacks that I get. You understand that? I will go and sit down, then they will now say, so from Sierra Leone, from Banjul. You understand? How does that make you feel?
To be honest,
and have you heard that feedback too?
I think, look, my take is that Nigerians are very aspirational, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you must always be a good sportsman. AMAA is not about Nigeria. AMAA, like Peace would say, unifies. It's about Africa. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about them. Let me ask you a question. If Nigeria won the Challenge Cup in Lagos and lost the World Cup, or rather a team in Lagos won the World Cup, won the Challenge Cup in Nigeria, and lost the World Cup, maybe they were not in the World Club Football Championship, which would you rather they have won?
The World.
What filmmakers should realize, AMAA is a blessing to all, because AMAA created a credible platform to benchmark their skill sets in a competitive manner across the best in the world. And that is why they became a defining factor of those who have won an AMAA award and those who haven't. And one of the things we've always tried to maintain is the integrity of the jury process, because that's what makes an award credible. Nobody wants to win what is common. You want to win what is special. AMAA is special. And to close out on your question, this happened in one of the early editions where I think Nigeria had been winning for quite a while, most of the earlier awards. And then I think one AMAA event, it was swept by South Africa. It created rumpus in the hall. And at that time, I remember he said, look, it's not about us, it's about what the jury has come up with. But I think after that, Nigerians stepped up their craft. And the quality of Nigerian films are almost now on par. So it's a level playing field.
Okay, my last question, and I want you to answer in two. Well, my last two questions, you answer in one way, in 1 minute. One is this: a lot of people believe that your direct competitor is Africa Magic Award.
Viewers' Choice Award.
Viewers' Choice Award. You understand? I want your reaction to that. And then finally, why should I come on November 2nd to watch Africa Magic Award? And are there places where people can stream live? Is there any television station showing it live?
I mean, as another question to that, what are the activities that make this year special? Because it's your 20th anniversary. What's the special thing this year?
Are we having 20 events? Are you giving all of us coming $20,000 each?
Well, you know, when people just focus on money, you trivialize the culture. But let me start with the event in itself. The roadmap, it's a 20th edition, you're absolutely right. We are doing our best to ensure it's an iconic event, reflective of the 20th edition, reflective of the AMAA brand, and the fact that it has an international connectivity across the continent and diaspora. We had 360 plus films screened that have been shot, that were finally shortlisted to what was announced. Some in collaboration from as far as the US and Canada, and Europe as well, and the USA. We expect that we're having the coffee book launch in last week in October. We are also having putting together a night AMAA meets Nollywood and AMAA meets African Legends. What we're looking to do is, it might be a fusion where the new genre, new Gen Z and millennials meet the old school players as well. So it's a relaxed environment for people to relax with one another, and mentorship is also encouraged, because that's important. Now, in terms of AMVCA and the African Movie Academy Awards, I think it's all in the name. It's clear. We're not competing. There is a story behind that, but I leave that story for another day. It's AMVCA does what it does, but AMAA is AMAA, and we don't see any conflict in the two.
All right, thank you so much for coming. Filmmakers, remember November 2nd, 2024, AMAA Awards 20th edition. What was the phrase you used? That you said Madam Peace used to use? Unbreakable.
Yes, unbreakable.
20 years of unbroken, celebrating the best of Africa films. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be shouting for all the Nollywood nominees that day. Interestingly, my friend has a lot of nominations. The Weekend, he was here at the other time, and he has a lot of nominations.
It should be a great show as always, and Nollywood is part of AMAA any way they want to think about it.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Raymond. I'll be there, and always, I am sure that we're going to have a very nice evening.
Sure, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I hope your audience loved the show.